And we are live. My camera, I'm going to take it away because I want you to be able to see the map here. Looking into Louisiana right now with the tornado emergency. This is a rare tornado emergency south of Alexandria, Louisiana. Look at all that lightning there as well, but the tornado is the main thing. The other thing that jumps out at me here is the overshooting top and the water vapor image. This is indicative of a very, very strong updraft, and that can call a V formation here in the clouds, a V notch. That's an indicator of very, very strong winds that are going straight up into the cloud. There's another overshooting top here. So this is for the tornado emergency until 10 p.m. Central. Um, for now, I don't know how to say this. I'm in Virginia, Rapides Parish or Rapids Parish in central Louisiana, and Oviel's Parish. I don't know how to. I'm probably horrendous at. To apologize. But a large and extremely dangerous tornado located 7 miles south of Alexandria. So just on the south side of Alexandria is where this tornado is. And I'm showing you the overshooting top because I thought that was impressive. But let me go out here and zoom out a little bit. This was the same supercell that tracked over, get rid of the satellite here, over Jasper, Texas. Well, this is a long track storm, and you can see it there. It's very discreet. It's on its own. Look at the rotation over the past hour. It picked back up again. I don't go back past an hour, but I could be able to maybe animate this and see it. But you can see the track there, and there's the tornado report just to the south of Jasper. That real quick. Load. Freeze down on Highway 87 there in Texas. You've got a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings, and these are storms that are producing wind damage as well south of Jackson, Mississippi. It's going to be a very busy night here. Multiple trees down in Jefferson County as well. Another severe thunderstorm warning there for Copia counties, western Simpson County. Flash flooding is also a big issue, a big, huge flash flood warning here, covering this area here south of Shreveport, Mansfield. Incredible rotation here. You can see these are the values that are calculated. They're derived after the radar scans for a couple of times or revolutions, but get a couple more volume scans and this will continue to fill in, track the rotation there. You can see how we had actually two mesocyclones. We had one that went just south of where the current big one is there, near LeCompte. There's one here, and then there's another one here a little bit closer, and it's much, much stronger. Those two may be merging. I'm quite sure. Let me look a little bit closer here. Now, this is off of our level software. I've got you a 4 panel up. Let me try to get it for you. So you're looking at the same thing in all 4 panels here. We're just looking at different products. So Willow Glen is in that tornado emergency. It's north of Echo. It just passed very close to Woodworth. Well, this is the storm relative velocity and impressive numbers here. Now the radar is back here. And so we're looking east of the radar. So these blues and greens are going toward the radar, and the brighter colors in yellow here at the top right. These are winds going away from the radar. At the same time, and I've de-aliased this, I've unsmoothed it basically. So it's a little blocky, but that allows me to see the actual pixels in the radar imagery rather than just remapping them because I want to be able to see the actual data. But there is a debris ball here. This is debris on the correlation coefficient. Whenever you see those cranberry colors that show where everything is falling in a very similar manner, and then the low values there in blue, just to the east of Chambers, that is debris. That's tornado debris. And now if we go to our lower left, you can see this is the shape of the particles that are falling, the raindrops and debris and everything like that. Rain tends to fall flat, so it gives us very high values there in red. Debris tends to give us very low values. You'll see that near the center of the spin here at times, some of these radar images. This is updating every couple of minutes here to kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with. And you can go, you can look at other things. There's various sources on the internet to look at some of this stuff. Specific differential reflectivity will often show um, low values for hail, except for large hail. Then you've got um, very high values for the heavy rain. And I'm still learning on stuff, but non meteorological echoes are not shown on this lower right. So if there's a tornado, you're likely looking at possibly right there in that dead zone where you're seeing that. And I think that lines up, put a marker here, lines up very close. You see it there? There's the marker, and there's the marker. But all four images line up where you would expect that rotation to be. Spectrum width is a way of seeing wind changing within the radar pixel. So if there's a lot of wind shear within the pixel, it tends to show up as these brighter colors. I'm not seeing a lot there, although if you zoom in on in, you can see maybe the wall tornado right through here. And again, that's very close to where our pixel is. We move our storm track, our marker here, right there. So it's a serious situation, tornado emergency. I think I've got an update here. 3 minutes ago, the tornado emergency continues. Tornado will be around, calling around 9:40. Ruby and Poland around 9:45. Center point around 9:50. See a donut hole now on the radar, but I do think, actually, I do think that's less of a donut hole and more of just the way the echoes are going up. Unless we have new rotation, I don't see it there. The rotation's actually down in here. It's part of the storm. So let's go over the big picture here, because it is going to be a busy night for the South. And you've got lots of lightning here, obviously, in the thunderstorms. Lots of wind damage reports, too, here across Louisiana. Just a general rain for you in Alabama and even northern Mississippi right now. But as I mentioned, over the past couple of days, wherever the warm front is where we tend to see the enhanced rotation. And lo and behold, I mean, that's exactly where our tornadoes are right now, or where they've been. The one here at Alexandria probably spun back up because of the enhanced low-level wind shear from this front that is now stationary, but it's going to become a warm front overnight. So you've got a tornado watch still in effect here across Tyler, Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana, down to almost Lakeshore, Lake Charles, I mean, and then in the Alexandria, obviously. Jackson, Mississippi, though, your night's going to get busy. You're already noticing the lightning off to the south of you. That's going to be increasing as the warm front lifts north. And I should mention that even along and north of the front, you can get strong elevated convection that can mix down these high winds. So we've got a lot of thunderstorm damage reports here coming out of west and right along the Mississippi River there, and Natchez, Jonesville, south of Winnsboro. And this activity will be lifting north throughout the night tonight. So anywhere in Mississippi, I do believe, especially around the Jackson area through Hattiesburg, even across the rest of Louisiana here from Monroe down to Baton Rouge, you need to be up all night, or at least you need to have a way to have the warnings wake you up on your cell phone or your weather radio tonight, watching from that area. And certainly tune to your local meteorologist as well on TV, or you have multiple ways to receive these warnings. Storm Prediction Center has just put out a new mesoscale discussion here for this tornado watch and across Louisiana here. That goes into Jackson, Louisiana, Macomb, Mississippi, Brookhaven, Mississippi as well. Read that for you here. In fact, I'll do it right. And go back out. Still a nice couplet here. Not a nice couplet, but a good example of the storm crosses the front. Look, this is the front as it's analyzed. So this is going right into our front. And I'm in Virginia, some of our biggest tornadoes here. We don't get what you get across the south. We get these backdoor cold front type wedge tornadoes that can form not because of the shape of the wedge, because of the weather pattern, the synoptic pattern. With the wedge coming down to the edge of that wedge produces your your gradient of CAPE and all that stuff. So as we look here on the SPC mesoanalysis, and I've got the supercell composite up right now, very high values here through a good part of Louisiana into East Texas. I've also got more stable air here to the north. So if you look at just the CAPE, surface-based CAPE, you can see there's a big gradient, right? This is where our warm front is, but it's probably, looks like to me, if you go by the wind, it's more in here. There's actually two gradients. Be interesting to see if this gets moved north. It looks like it will. If you look at the SPC Day 1 outlook, this is where they have the but it's right through here across the south, further east than what you're seeing right now. Lifted index, another way of looking at instability. Big gradient through here, and again, there's your radar picture. I'm going to kind of fade that up and down. But this is the air that's the most buoyant, stable, unused, untapped potential here as you go down through Houston and going through southern Louisiana. Again, it's stable air mainly through the Carolinas. So rain moving in very late tonight, moving into Atlanta tonight, and then rain ongoing right now, and a soaking rain and possibly a flooding rain for some areas where the heavier downpours are. There's your enhanced risk, finally loaded for me. You can see that continues right up against Jackson, Mississippi, but you've also got a slight risk outside of that. That doesn't mean you won't get tornadoes in the slight risk. It means that the number of them shouldn't be quite as high as will be in an enhanced risk. That's the way I read these risks. I don't look at them as values of intensity, because sometimes that just isn't the case. Our significant tornado parameters just kind of very on the extreme side here. 6s and 7s are very high. And again, you can see that pulled right up against our warm front. So I mean, that's the story. It's where is the warm front? Where is the warm sector? Areas just north of the warm front tonight are going to have to watch out, because this will be lifting as we go through the night. Lifting north, and where it does happen, you may be rainy and cool where you are in Mississippi, and then all of a sudden the temperatures may warm up tonight, and you may start to see a different situation developing. You'll go from rain to more in the way of stronger storms. So that's what I kind of want to drive home for you there in Mississippi and Louisiana. I do see this shifting, and we've got a new tornado watch. I believe the fact that maybe there's probably going to be an expansion of this with time anyway. I'll turn on the local next rad here on GR level 3. 8 live scan. Zooming into the Alexandria area. I'm going to, on this map, I'm going to hide lightning. Well, distracting. As long as it isn't too distracting. So our damage threat here is considerable. 1.5-inch hail with this as well. Still got an inflow notch and a hook echo. This area. This is southeast now of Alexandria. The Vale here at the top. Marksville down here is probably south of the storm unless it starts moving right. There's our enormous turn around here. This is the velocity, not the storm relative velocity. Get it in higher res if I just look at the particular software. The radar was scanned again. You can see the rotation moving across the front. What's probably happening too is the front lifting north. That's why we're seeing that. And again, it's this is Interstate 49, passed over too long ago. It's moving fairly quickly. I'll show you too what happens for the rest of tonight. This is a map discussion. I'm going to have a live stream very shortly as soon as I get done with this quick analysis here for you on YouTube. I'll have another YouTube video coming very soon. Just radar and just warnings and sig tour, so you can do that if you want to all night long. Now, wherever you see the black areas here, this is updraft helicity values where we could see rotating updrafts. It's an indicator on the model anyway, and this is the HRRR version 4 over the southeast. It's a new model that's still in development, but it is available on the COD weather.cod.edu site, and it takes us through 4Z. That's about 11 o'clock next 20 minutes, Jamie. And then as we go into 6Z, this would be, I think, 1 p.m. local time. You can see there in Jackson, lots of activity. And then again, South Louisiana, this is going to be an area that starts to, I think, really unfold into new development overnight. May not be exactly how the model has it, but the lift will be moving into that very unstable, rich air mass. And I really don't see that air mass changing because of the night. Probably stay unstable. Even if it cools off a little bit, probably won't again because you've got so much moisture pooling up there. But you're going to lift that air anyway, and it's conditionally unstable once you lift it past the surface cooling. This is centered on 4 a.m. So by 4 a.m., we're still busy around Jackson, down through South Mississippi. But now going into Alabama, it starts to get interesting. And I just told a friend who lives in Mobile, in the Fairhope area, that she needs to watch out around 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes the storms can roll in ahead of these models. Once they get going, they tap the upper level winds and they tend to become more linear with time as we go into the overnight. That's not to say we won't get tornadoes within the line, as they experienced in the Mobile area just a few days ago, the Sunday severe weather episode. And again, very strong indicator here of possible severe convection around the Mobile Bay area at 8 a.m. local time, Central Time, Southern Alabama. Then you've also got to watch up here, maybe up to Birmingham, but more than likely south of Birmingham, Southern Alabama. You've got more in the way of the front kind of arcing through that region. But if the front's a little further south, again, we could definitely see something there. And again, it's just rain through Charlotte and Asheville, down through Greenville, Spartanburg, and Columbia. Atlanta's getting just really heavy rain for the morning commute tomorrow. But the panhandle of Florida, look at this. Lots of rotating helicity showing up here. We've also got some just linear segments, some supercellular structure here showing up in the model, and some quasi-linear stuff in between. Basically all different kinds of storms that will probably be rain wrapped. If there's any tornadoes, they could be on their own though, but I wouldn't wait on any verification. You never want to look out the window with these things, especially at night or early in the morning. You just go ahead and take the shelter, man. Southern Georgia here by now we're going to be going into Eastern time. So this is 2 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. Southern Georgia, panhandle of Florida still, getting a little bit closer into Jacksonville. And then new convection flares up back here. The trough is likely still back here in the upper levels. So start to watch the Atlanta area, even the upstate Columbia, South Carolina, down Interstate 26. This is our new storm for Friday night and the Saturday, so we may do it all over again in quick time here. At the helicity, the lowest 1 kilometer of the atmosphere, and only the relevant values are plotted. I like this because there's no cape that doesn't plot. So this is where our warm front lifts. I know it's a little hard to see, but again, this is Mississippi, Jackson, right in through here, Alabama. See that our warm front does indeed lift north with time. 4 a.m. it's through 3 or 4 a.m. it's through Mobile, and going into Florida. It may have a hard time getting north into Birmingham, but it does look like southern Alabama could be a target for the warm front lifting through. And then you've got rain cooled air out behind it where it's going to show values here that will be lower. The future helicity will be, at least the effective helicity, will be dictated by what happens with the rain ahead of this. If it cools down any and creates pools of stable air, you wouldn't have effective area to ingest into the storm to give you any like a tornado. But you can still have some strong winds, a lot of wind energy, and a big wind field with this. Then you can see our values here, very intermittent now, not looking nearly as widespread here into the Carolinas as we go into Thursday night. That may be good news, but the Storm Prediction Center still has a slight enhanced risk up right up through North Carolina, right up against Virginia for Thursday and a Thursday night. So it's going to be pretty busy here. Cape values and our wind shear. It's a storm ocean, pardon me. And barbs there. They continue to increase throughout the night. So this is, let me find it. This is now. There are capes surging north, getting advected north through Mississippi tonight. Really, it does survive some into Alabama. It'll depend on how the convection breaks out. If it breaks out and you see this big outflow here of cool air that chokes it off, that would be the best case in terms of severe for you in the south, but through the rest of Georgia here in the Florida Panhandle. But what it would also do is create a flooding threat. So you got to watch that too. Multiple threats ongoing tonight. There's your updated map here. I believe we've got another tornado warning for Encodia Parish, Tula Parish, southwestern Adams County, till 11 o'clock Central Time. Firm tornado moving over Effie, moving east at 40. Pardo around 10:20. Acme and around 10:25. Monterey and Slocum at 10:40. Deer Park at 10:50. Andrea's here. Again, this is a Louisiana crossover now into the Mississippi River, state of Mississippi. There's an incredible rotation track, and just all indicators of a massive tornado on the ground happening. And let's go back in here. You can see it going up very clearly here. Vic, north of Marksville. Acme, New Era. Want to watch out for this. Probably have the alerts going off if you're watching. A lot of wind shear getting ingested. Correlation coefficient still very low where we have our TVS. It's right where it lines up with the hook on the radar and the low values there on the differential reflectivity. So get everything showing us again. North of it, fortunately. So it's a busy night. I'm going to have more information available as we go through the night. I'm going to right now work on my stream, and that'll be if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be getting notifications on anything I stream. I try to stream stuff that's in the Mid-Atlantic and the South now. I'm trying to do more national or regional weather events, as there are no borders anymore with the internet. Save lives, I'll try to do it. Vicksburg, the Jackson, the Macomb, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, y'all need to watch out. There is a new tornado watch now in effect. That's until 5 a.m. So again, it's a dangerous night. Don't think these storms are going to die off as they move northeast. They may strengthen some cases in some respects. Water vapor and rotation tracks combined. It's kind of a neat way to look at what's going on here. Well, still an overshooting top there around Alexandria, Louisiana. Impressive stuff for sure. This is the dry air punching in around Dallas, and the moisture increasing. If you were in Virginia, North Carolina today, you probably saw the sky go from blue to white. the ice crystals aloft are suspended in the jet stream winds, and they are increasing as well. This is our upper level system here. I'll put on the height contours for the weather buffs out there. See, this is a, if it's not a closed low, it's a um, very close to being one, but a very just strong, potent. It's a positively tilted trough actually, but it's very potent. There's a lot of vorticity. Just perfect conditions for tornadoes tonight, unfortunately, in southern Louisiana, going into central and southern Mississippi. Stay safe.